Hello, friends. Welcome to Worry is Not Your Friend. Worry is not your friend. Worry is not my friend. Worry is none of our friends. But sometimes we seem to let worry be our friend. And it's not a healthy environment for us. It's not good for us to do that. I'm going to give a few minutes for people to get on, but I got something about a month ago under the prompting of Holy Spirit. And it was a really odd thing for me personally because this is not my normal jam. But I felt the Lord lead me to get something like this. And this is called Shungite, and it is a stone. And I have a friend in hydrotherapy business who helps me sometimes. And she informed me that it isn't just a stone, it isn't just for grounding yourself, but it's something that brings a balance to your whole body. It's something that happens over time. It doesn't happen just like that. But when I got it, Shungite, thank you, Anna, thank you. Hello, Anna. Thank you, honey. Yes, Anna, you would know. You would know. This is true. It is called Shungite. It is from Russia, and now you can't get them. They said they don't know if they will ever be able to send these now. So I thought that was interesting. Anyhow, when I got the stone, I was holding it in my hand. I was asking God, well, God, what do I do with this? Because this is just an odd thing for me to have. And He told me to use it as a point of reference, just to use it as a point of reference. And He said, in my heart, He said, don't worry, just worship. Now, that seems like a basic principle for all of us. We're all taught, don't worry, worship. But is it really that easy? I think it takes some training. And so he introduced me to this. One reason was for electromagnetic field protection because it is a shield about 9 to 11 feet, this particular stone. And honestly, I can already feel it in my mouth. I can feel the energy of it in my body. So I don't put it next to me when I'm sleeping. I keep it in the other room because it literally keeps me up at night. And so this I believe you can get right now, but you cannot get, this has no, I'm just spending a little time, a few minutes, ladies, before we get going. You can, however, you cannot get this. This is electromagnetic field shield, and it is also from Russia. And it absorbs electromagnetic power, and that's its job. It absorbs. And so it's a blessing. I did feel a difference when I received these in the mail, and we put them all around, one in the kitchen, where our microwave is, where we have other electronics, one in the living room, one in our bedroom, and one here in my office, and one in Craig's office. We have one in almost every house. There is one area, another area we need them in, but mostly the electronics are out in these areas I just mentioned. And so this has been a help for me personally. And the last time I did a little test to see how my body was doing physically, because that was a source of worry for me. If you're wondering why I'm mentioning it, it was a source of worry for me because I could feel that and I didn't know until I got some tests to know why is it my body is always feeling drained. Now I have some other things I'm working through right now physically, but it isn't that any longer. The last time I took a little test on that, it wasn't high up, it was lower down. So my body still feels some of that, but it wasn't the number one thing, which it was the number one thing before. So I'm very thankful. It's Shungite. Shungite. Yes, it also brings balance to water, says Anna. You can get this. You can get these, I believe, still on Amazon. And These, however, you leave in your water for 3 days while it charges the water, and after 3 days, you drink it. And then you drink it, and then you start over again. It does take 3 days. And then you also have to recharge these if you use them for water. So enough of that. Just want to spend a little bit of time giving us a minute to get situated, see if anybody else wants to join us. We had a great Zoom call yesterday or day before. I'm so sorry. There were 6 of us total in some private time, having some prayer and some transparency, and it was really a blessing, and I appreciate that. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today's topic is worry. Worry. Worry is not your friend. And there are real things happening in our economy right now. There are real things happening with our health, with our finances, with our relationships. And there is also some loneliness, some isolation happening with folks. I am a high introvert. I'm also a high extrovert. I'm both. I'm cut down the middle. And so I love to spend time alone. I spend my time out on the porch. I call it a porch. I spend my time just sitting still. And then I also spend time with people. I've not had time with people in a while. I've had some health issues that have really kept me behind doors before we had all the issues that we have right now in our world that were out in the open for everybody to know about. So I was already bending towards some isolation, and I was already feeling the effects of that isolation. And now I feel it even more. But guess what God did? Because God in His sovereignty and His smartness uses every season in our life to turn us from whatever would worry us into a place of worship. He told me clearly, do not worry with this and do not worship this, but use it as a point of reference to worship me. And so I use it for that purpose. And in a season where I could be worried about the very things that someone talked to me about, my health, where I could be worried about our finances. My husband works for a company that globally they're going through some strong things right now. And so nobody knows what tomorrow holds. We just know the one who holds tomorrow, correct? Relationally, how do you sustain relationships when you're not around people? How do you stay in contact with people when they feel like you've dropped off? You've just dropped off, and where are you? You're no longer there. And then for people that are lonely, there are folks that are really, really lonely that are reaching into things that they normally wouldn't reach into. This is an excellent time for people with addictions to move into addictions. You don't want to do that. So what do we do in a season where the whole world basically has taken on worry? And you know, the thing is, people that believe in God, we'd like to say we don't worry. But yet you see so many posts from people that are definitely in fear and that definitely want to get out of here because they are worried. And so let's go into a little session. I want to do some body work today. I gave us a few minutes to be online together. And if you're willing, if you're wanting, I would like to do almost some meditative work with us to dismiss the worry. And so if you're in, maybe you could do, if you're able to type a little thing, say, yes, I want that or something for engagement, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start. I want you to think about something that you are greatly concerned about, like greatly. And if you have your concerns under your control already, fine. But maybe there's something with a child or a parent or something that niggles. And what I'm talking about, for me, worry is something, it's like a pot boiling on the back of the stove. It's always there, even though it's not in the forefront. It's just always there. Always there. So bring that portion, and just like I told you, this is a point of reference. Just take that as a point of reference and just place it in your hand. Just look at it in your hand. Take it and look at that worry. Maybe you need to write it down. The exact thing. Go ahead and write it down. Maybe you need to just say it out loud. I am worried about my health. I am worried about my finances. I am worried about my relationships. I am worried about my sanity. I am worried about how lonely I feel. Or maybe you have something else. So take that real thing, and I want you to put it right here in your hand and really look at it. Really look at it. Feel the weight of it on you. And take a deep breath. And let it out. Maybe you have a concern with your spouse or a close friend. Maybe you've had a spat. Maybe things happening in your home that are not your favorite. And it's just like a little pot boiling on the back of the stove. I had some bone broth on today. And when I have something on the stove, 99% of the time, I put the timer on so that I don't forget I have it there. So I had a pot boiling on the stove today. And at the 10-minute mark, it goes beep, beep, beep. And I get up from my desk and I go in there. I turn off the stove and I turn off the timer so that it doesn't roll over, or so the pot doesn't completely boil down and ruin it. So that's what I'm talking about. Something that's on the stove always boiling. This is the kind of thing where we usually ignore what's on the back of the stove. Especially if you have pots on the front that you're cooking, you're like, I put that on the back because I don't have to worry about it as much. I'm just heating it or whatever. But if you leave it on there long enough, it will hurt something. It will destroy the pan. So I just want you to look at those things. And I just want you to say with me. Say with me out loud. I want you to say with me, I see all these thoughts and all these impossible situations. Just say that with me. I see all these thoughts. I see all these impossible situations. I want you to take a deep breath. If you feel led to share, you're welcome to share. I'm going to place in the comment, honestly, I have a health concern right now. And I am writing that in my transparency. Something I've been working at for the last few months. So I'm bringing my own health concern to the forefront, taking it from the back of the stove, and I'm moving it in my hand. You know why? Because if you ignore it, it will eat you alive. If you continue to avoid it, it will destroy you at night. It will terrorize you. Or you'll repress it so deep that it will come back up years later. And you won't even know why you have XYZ happening to you emotionally. You won't even remember that maybe it's attached to something that you repressed years ago. What do I mean by repressed? I mean, maybe you had a concern and you decided, I don't care. And you wadded it up and you decided you're going to put it underneath your feet. You're just going to stomp on it. and say, you're not there, you're not there, you're not there, I'm ignoring you, I'm ignoring you. Instead of taking that piece of paper, crumbling it up and go, wait, okay, look, this is my concern. I'm not going to ignore you. I'm not going to avoid you. I'm not going to pretend like you don't exist because you've been bothering me for so long. I'm going to acknowledge you right now. Look, we don't acknowledge things so they have power over us. We acknowledge things because we have power over them. We have the power over them. When we refuse to pay attention, when we refuse to acknowledge these issues, they have power over us. Example, I know someone who had some deep-seated issues, would not come clean, and one day came clean regarding their addiction. They got triggered, and in that triggering, they ended up being destructive to property, destructive around family members, scared the bejeebers out of the folks around them because they did not know that side of that person. They had no idea that that was there. It had been hidden from them, hidden. And this person, when they came out and acknowledged it to them and said, look, I have this addiction, the people around that person did their best to help in every way they could. But by that time, this person was eaten so alive, and there's so much unforgiveness and so much pain inside this person now. Do you know that now they are totally in such a bad, hard, destructive place that they had to leave because the harm they were bringing to the environment, to themselves, was too much. So this is what can happen when you completely ignore something for so many years and you hide it from everyone around you. One day it blows. So today is one step toward taking something that has been eating you alive privately. So take it, whether you have a point of reference like I do, or you have something you've written down, or you just have the thought and you know it's there. Okay, let's see. We have a comment. Let me read that real quick. That is how I grew up, mostly stuffing or occasionally exploding. Okay, we have some understanding in the room. There you go. Thank you for sharing. So we're going to take these now back to our concerns. I see these impossible situations. Now I want you to take this impossible situation, and I know that if you're in this group, you have some kind of template in God. However you call him, Creator, the Christ, Jesus, your friend, Spirit, whatever, doesn't matter. God is not in an identity crisis. He knows who he is all the time. He doesn't even have to hear Jesus for him to know who he is. We're the ones with the issues, not him. So whatever you call him, I'm bringing him into this. I'm bringing them into this to work with us to dismiss this concern, to take this concern and to deal with this concern. Okay. Take that in your hand. And I want you to see it. I want you to literally see it. And I want you to watch it. Whatever is best for you. You know, I have had some people take their concerns and pick them up and in their mind see a volcano and throw that concern into a volcano and watch it blow up. I have had other people uh, take it in their hand and watch it disintegrate into 1,000 pieces. I've had some look at something in their mind and literally just watch it blow up. I've also seen folks who, with the help of God on one side and them on the other side, in their minds, take one of those welding machines with fire and fire it down until there's nothing left. I want you to take your concern and do that right now with me. I like kites. And so this concern, I'm going to watch it pick up. I'm going to watch the wind pick it up, and I'm going to watch it literally fly away. The wind blowing it, and I'm watching that kite fly. And this is the thing though with me. I'm not going to just let the kite fly. You know why? Because it's still alive. I am going to watch all these birds attack it until it's completely destroyed. There's nothing left. Why? Because I'm bringing my health. I'm bringing the concern of my health. My health is not getting bombarded. No, my concern with my health, my concern, my worry cannot remain, because what we allow to hold our attention becomes our worship. It becomes our identity. It becomes something we hold on so tight, like this stone, that I'm not to worry with, but to worship with. It becomes something you hold on so tight that it becomes your thought life. And instead, the worry has got to go. Maybe it is your health. I talked to someone recently that felt like they said, you know what, if I'm dying, I need to know. Thought, well, that's intense. That's intense. Well, they have a family they're taking care of. Do you know they want to know what's happening with them so that they can be around for their kids? That's a big deal. So their motive is, I want to live. This is how we come into agreement with the one who lives inside of us. And listen, if you wonder, something comes to your mind regarding that, and maybe there's someone that comes to your mind that is on your last nerve. Your worry has to do with a relationship. Maybe there's someone holding you back from what you feel like is yours. Maybe someone has stopped you from getting the help you need. Maybe you got fired. Maybe you are so lonely and you're in a relationship that you feel lonely in, and you're shifting blame to that person for your loneliness. When honestly, we have to be responsible for that ourselves. And maybe you're mad at God because you don't feel like you're hearing Him. And you want to hear Him. And you need to hear Him. And you feel like He's depriving you from hearing His voice. That can feel that'd be like a little kid coming up to you. And that's your kid. And you completely are ignoring them. You're like, that is not our Creator. That is not your Father. That's not my Father. That's not my greatest friend. That's not my greatest companion. That's not the one who lives inside of me. There sometimes feels like there's a distance, but I don't believe the distance is on their part. It's on my part. It's on my part. I distance myself through worry. I distance myself through being angry with people, being angry with myself. I distance myself in being so busy, but not being productive. Listen, I know moms. I named this group successful female spiritual entrepreneurs, and had some question me on that. And I'm like, do you know every woman is an entrepreneur? Every woman, every mom is an entrepreneur. Every mom running a household, every woman in charge of their elders, every woman who has taken care of herself, you are an entrepreneur. You are governing you. So today, let's take our government into a different place. And so, did you watch your worry go away? I wish there was a way to see you go yes or no, or I wish there was some way to do that. I don't. That's the one thing about Zoom I like. I like it that you can see each other and talk to each other. You let your worry go away, Anna. And self-protection, yes, 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 yes. So whatever concern you had, if you watched it go and you feel like you can, if you can just place in the comments, I let it go away. And so now I want to do the next step. I want you to look, and I want you to see the person that comes to your mind immediately that is in connection with that worry. I have someone in my mind. I know, right? We shouldn't have people in our mind. We're supposed to be leaders. Why is it? I'm going to look on something real quick. Why is it that leaders are exempt from having issues? Why do you think that would be? We're not. Leaders have issues. Every leader has got an issue. And what do? We take those issues, we work them out with the one who lives inside of us. That's how you work them out. Because you didn't become a leader by doing nothing. You didn't become a leader by not pressing through something. You didn't become a leader by not overcoming something. Heck no. You became a leader by overcoming. You became a leader by leaning into the one who gives you rest. You became a leader by making a buttload of mistakes. You became a leader by forgiving people when they really pissed you off. Pardon me for those that will be offended by this. I know someone will, because I already had someone offended by something else. You did not become a leader by doing nothing. Heck no. Heck no. You became a leader by leading. You became a leader by pressing through some things that you'd never pressed through before. And you got on the other side, and you didn't think you were going to survive, but yet there you were. You did not die. You are alive. That's how you become a leader. And that is one reason why I believe every woman is a leader. I don't care if you have the I don't care what you do or don't do. You lead someone, you lead something. And if you don't lead people, then you lead yourself, and that still makes you a leader. That still makes you a leader, a woman who has to overcome. And so here we go. You see that person? Did you find that person in your mind? I want you to do something with me. These are points of reference. These are points of reference. First of all, take your hand, if you can, and do you see this area right here? Right here underneath your collarbone. You see your collarbone? You see that bone? If you can take your hand right here and place it right underneath that bone, this is a place that I call my sweet spot. This is my sweet spot. It's a place of reference. It's also where your lymphatics join. You've got lymphatics down there. You've got lymphatics that join right here, right underneath here. And from what I understand by people who do work with body trauma, this is a great place to put something into your subconscious that is a positive, so that you're commanding your body instead of your body commanding you. So your hand right here. Now, I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to see a page turn. So you see worry, and just turn the page. And if you need to tear that page out, tear it out. Or you can just make it part of the book that you're writing on the inside of you for your life story. Worry, an area you overcome, and write overcome on this other side of that page that's blank. Overcame. And now I want you to see inside of you this life, the life inside of you. Do you know I want to explain life to you while you're standing here. No matter whether you call God creator, father, friend, the son, whether you think he's just a spirit and that's it. When you were born, the word talks about us being created on the inside. On the inside. We were created on the inside. That person who created you on the inside is literally on the inside of you. Born with the creator on the inside of you, molding you, making you, shaping you, breathing life into you. And then you were birthed. Listen, do you honestly believe that when you were birthed on this planet, that the person who created you left you and said, see you later, I hope to catch you on the flip-flop? No. That one who breathed life in you is your very breath. And there comes a time in all of our lives, no matter who we are, no matter where we are, there comes a time from we are very, very young, born, learning, sitting up, crawling, stepping, that we come into a place where we get to acknowledge the one who already lives inside. And we get to be awakened to our part. We get to have a relationship with this one that we're to worship. We're not to worry. Why? Because the breath of God lives inside of you. He's got you. He's got you. He's got you. He's got you. Father, Son, and Spirit, Creator. He's got you. And you know He waits for us to go, hey, 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 I came from you. I look like you. I must belong to you. You must be my Father. He waits for this relationship, and He waits for us. He waits for us. He never leaves us. He never forsakes us. He allows us the journey to get to know Him. He allows us the journey. It's not a religious sacrifice. It's not a hard taskmaster hitting you over the head saying, obey me, obey me, obey me, obey me, obey me, obey me. No, 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 no. It is this person inside of you saying, hey, I'm right here. Let me work this out with you. Let me help you with that place where you're concerned, and let me help you turn it into a place of worship with me. And when you have this, you're able to forgive. Why? Because this one who lives inside of you, he's not holding anything against you. It's a myth to think that the one who created you has left you because of your own issues, your own imperfections, your own flawed, missing the mark self. No, that's not what parents do. Parents don't cut us off. And if they did cut you off, if someone did cut you off, it was just because of a place inside of them where they were hurt, where they didn't understand their own identity, where they didn't have a relationship with the one who lives inside of them. So today, take the person, and I want you to take your hand after breathing in and coming to grips with this one who lives inside of you. Listen, this isn't a religious exercise. This isn't church. This isn't a cute little song. This isn't an awesome story, though I have some. This is a place to start being free from the things that haunt you, from your true identity, and from intimacy. So I want you to think about the person that you know either has aught against you or you have aught against them. And I want you to put your hand like this on your right hand if you can. Your left on your right hand. Just mirror me. Just as a point of reference. But for those who do energy work, this is also a place where energy gathers. And the body recognizes it. And I just want you to say with me that I forgive XYZ. With your hand right here. I forgive this person. I forgive that person. From my spirit alive in Christ, from my spirit alive in my Creator, I forgive myself for all this worry. I forgive myself for thinking God's left me and I'm going to have to figure it out on my own. You don't have to figure it out on your own. The one who is inside you has led you even to right here today to help you be reminded that He has the way for you to take. And you will make mistakes. You have a journey inside of you. And those mistakes will not define you when you see His love for you. Mistakes are part of the journey. It isn't because you're a bad person. It isn't even always because you've missed God. No. It's the journey of knowing that you're loved and receiving love for yourself in such a way that you can love others. It's the journey. It's the journey. It is the journey. So I forgive XYZ. I forgive XYZ. It could be somebody who made you mad this morning or last week. Or you could have had something come into you that you remember from 20 years ago. And you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? Well, why am I thinking about that? Well, why do I have that memory right now? Maybe you haven't thought about that in many, many years. In that place, forgive that person. Listen, forgiveness is a real place. Intention is a decision. With intention, think about that person and forgive that person. And say with your mouth, I forgive XYZ. And I revoke all this unforgiveness toward XYZ. And I revoke all this unforgiveness toward myself. These are things you say aloud. You know why? Because your body needs to hear you releasing you from ill, from harm, from worry, from concern, from debt. Your body and your soul need to hear you saying goodbye to what haunts you, to what holds you, and to what calls you into failure and faltering. Because you're not a failure. And when you fall, you just rise. Why? Because you are a woman and you are powerful. Listen, I've never had biological babies, but we have the power to have biological babies. That means we are powerful. You are a powerful woman. There is nothing weak about you. There is nothing inferior about you. There is nothing less about you. Not one part of you is less or inferior from the person next to you, from a friend, from a spouse, from a child, from a parent, from an employer, from a leader. Heck no. No. You are more than a conqueror. You have got the goods. You have got the goods. And listen, to find more goods, to see your goods, it helps to see the goodness in the one who made you, the one who believes in you, the one who created you, the one who breathes through you. That place, that's your place of worship. Am I saying worship yourself? Hey, no. But I am saying the ones who live inside you, I call them Father, Son, and Spirit. The three. If you call Him just Creator, that's totally cool with me. If you just call Him the Almighty Spirit, that's cool with me. Don't care. Whatever you call the one who created you, that place, that creator lives inside you. Lives inside you. And that is the one you spend time with. That is the one you release your worries to. That is the one you literally, listen, oh my goodness, I'm sure somebody's going to watch this and they're going to either unfriend me or unpage me or ungroup me or be mad. But listen, it makes no sense to me as a believer in the ones who live inside of me to worship some God that is far off from me. It makes no sense to me. If they truly live inside of you and they truly live inside of me, right here is where we do business. Right here. Right here. Does that mean you worship yourself? No. That means you can find the strength and the power within you to withstand, to endure, to persevere, to walk forward, to move into who you truly are, to not be inferior anymore, but to know that you're brave, to know you can do anything, to know that you're going to make it because Jesus, Creator, Father, the Spirit, Christ, they never fail. They never fail. They never fail. And we get to work it out with them who lives inside. So the page is turned, and now we're turning toward worship. We're turning toward the ones who lives inside. Listen, I read something. Let me find my little page. I wrote it down. Hold on. I didn't plan to say this. Yeah, you can tell. Whatever. Where is my little, okay, well anyway, I found a piece of paper on the 4th. I thought, oh my goodness, what a day to find this piece of paper. I'm determined to find it. Oh, here it is. Yay, I knew I had it, y'all. And this is what it said. I found this. I don't know how I found it, but I wrote this in September 23rd, 2018. And I heard something inside my heart. This is what it was. My apron strings have been cut. And what that meant to me was I'm no longer leaning into someone else to hear God, and that my hearing will increase. My apron strings have been cut. I'm no longer leaning in to someone else to hear God, and my hearing will increase. I came into a really strong revelation of the truth of these that live inside of me. To listen, to spend time hearing. I'm not talking about just reading a Bible. I'm not talking about just reading a bunch of scripture. I'm talking about listening for the quiet that lives inside of you in the midst of all the noise. In the midst of all the noise, there is a person who is quiet, who is still, who is at peace, that you can lean into so that your worry turns to worship, so that your pieces turn to peace, so that you can see the healing and the wholeness and the restoration that is yours because of the ones who live inside you. When you see that love living inside of you for you, that's when you begin to really, like the apron strings are cut off, this is when you begin to cut off the complaints that you have about other people. And you cut off the complaints that you have about yourself. Complaining about yourself. Needing to look a certain way. Needing everybody to see that you look a certain way so that you're validated. So that you feel like you're important. So that you feel like you're seen. So that you feel like you're noticed. Listen, you're seen and you're noticed. And if nobody's told you today, I see you. I notice you. You are amazing. There's nobody like you. You are beautiful. Listen, I'm going to show you something. Look at this mirror. I want you to look inside a mirror, man. There you go. Look inside the mirror and see how beautiful you are. Look inside this mirror and see how amazing you've been made. Look inside this mirror and make a decision today. Don't let it just be based on the emotion and the feeling that you just sent away, but make a new decision that lasts. And hear the voice of God say that you're made in His image, that there's no one like you, that He presses into you just like you press into them, that it's not just you pressing in, fasting and praying, and all these things that you're trying to do to move God. God's not moved by works. God's heart is moved by your presence. By your presence. Because you are completely and totally and irrevocably loved and received and wanted and needed and validated and seen. This is my message for you today on how not to worry. How do you not worry? You find the peace that lives inside. The peace that lives inside. And you know what? You have to pass through all the voices. Passing through. It's almost sometimes like going through a jungle. And there you've got this machete. And you're just cutting the stuff down so you can just go through. Sometimes it's like you just got to get through to that open patch where you can just stand there or sit there or lay there and go, here I am. And if you have 1,000 children around you and you don't have a moment to find you, I want you to somehow look inside and see the love of God for you in the midst of all the voices, in the midst of everybody clawing at you, in the midst of everybody wanting a piece of you, in the midst of your busy journey with people that want everything and just suck you dry. I want you to see the one who irrevocably holds you and breathes through you. I want you to see all the troubles and all the worries, but see the God who is there with you, helping you, restoring you to the peace that is yours from your spirit alive in your Creator, from your spirit alive in Christ, from your spirit alive in the Father, from your spirit alive in the Son, from your spirit alive in the three that live inside of you, and all four of you make one. I want you to see it and taste it and believe it and trust that in this journey you're not alone. And in this journey you're not just going to make it. God is going to see you through step by step by step. Step by step by step. So, cutting away those complaints. Cutting them away. Got some scissors? I have some scissors. Next time, I'll give you a list of things to bring. Here's scissors. Cutting away. Cutting away. Cutting away. Cutting them away. Cutting them away. And throwing them out. And receiving instead, with great intention, the mercy and the forgiveness of God. And I'll tell you, I'll just be bold enough to tell you, you're already forgiven. You're the one who hasn't forgiven you. God has already forgiven you. He's not thinking about billions of people that He's got issues with. God does not have any issues with us. He really doesn't. He has love for us. He has goodness for us. He has mercy for us. He wants to train us and mature us and help us. But he's not pointing his finger at you and saying, you better get it together, sister friend, because I ain't got time for this. He's not saying any of that to you. He's not saying anything like that to me. And if you have friends saying that to you, just remember that little accusatory thing. One finger this way, all the rest are pointing back at you. So you do the same thing. Don't point the finger at you, because all those fingers are just bringing accusations against you when there is no accusations against you. They are gone. Bye-bye. And you can live in Christ and be free from all the debris, all the worry and the yuck that came. Okay, so take a deep breath with me. We just have 5 more minutes. Take a deep breath. If you can put your feet out straight in front of you, try that. So I receive this health that's mine because of the ones who live inside me. I receive the wisdom to know how to walk out this road. I receive the strength to rise to my feet. Or I receive the strength to go take a nap and put up my feet. Sometimes they both take strength. Receiving where you are while you're on the way to where you're going is key. It's key. It's key. It's key. So deep breath. That's not deep enough. I'm going to breathe in my essential oil called peace. Not that I'm plugging anything, but I do use Young Living. Taking a deep breath of peace. I receive my peace. Would you say with me, I receive who I am right now while I'm on the way to where I'm going. One more time. I receive right now who I am while I'm on the way to where I'm going. And listen, in full transparency, right now, I'm receiving healing and wholeness with an intention from the one who lives inside of me for issues I'm working out. See, we all have an issue, right? So I'm receiving the intention of God for the complete solution, for the reconciliation, for the restoration, for the answers, for the pathway. I'm receiving the love of God. I'm receiving words that He wants to say. I receive this intention of the ones that live inside me for strength and life and living. Strength and life and living. For health, for relationships, for your finances. And listen, how to hear God in the midst of everything that's going on with us. When you can't get quiet, physical quiet, You have to somehow, some way take yourself into a place where this inside quiet. And that sometimes is taken by faith. Sometimes that's taken with intention. I'm going to leave you with a picture. Now, I'm going to, if you're able to, I know we're right at time. I'm going to close with this. I have a place in my mind that I go sometimes to find peace. Now, I'm using my imagination. I'm using my spirit. I'm using this ruach, this breath inside of me that I know God offers me. Sometimes I feel like I have nothing but a pathway of thorns. And one day I was looking at those thorns, and it was like a ladder going up. That ladder going up led, I stepped up the thorns, and it led to a beautiful rose. And it was like a rose tree. Not a bush, but a tree. And I climbed up through, and I sat in the petals, and I smelled the scent. I smelled the scent of the roses. I smelled the scent of the peace. I smelled it. The first time I went, it was red. The next time I went, it was white. It was soft. It was fragrant. It was floral, and I'm not really into floral, but it smelled. The intention of peace was so strong, but I had to climb up those thorns to get to it. And once I was there, I breathed in, I breathed out, I breathed in, I breathed out, and I thought, oh my, this is a beautiful place. How did we get here? It was walking up the thorns. It was going through those difficult things that I went through. It led me to a place of peace. When I stopped fighting the thorns, I was able to find the peace. So I encourage you today to use the thorns in your life to climb into a place of peace. Use those thorns for you instead of allowing them to stick you, instead of allowing them to be pieces against you. Use those thorns for you and climb until you reach that place of peace. And in that place, breathe deep and receive. Breathe deep and receive. Even if you can only stay 60 seconds. However long you can remain in that place, receive. And God will lead you. He will lead you from that place into another place. And He'll help you in your journey. Because He's not left you alone. He's not deserted you. He's all in. He's all in you, and you're all in Him. So I bless you today. Thank you for joining. I'm going to pray quickly for all of us. I want to stick to my hour out of respect for y'all. God, I pray that the pieces that these women are encountering that have felt thorny would turn into a rose tree, would turn into a place of beauty, that they would breathe in and they would breathe out. and that they would find the strength to be transparent and hear the voice of the one who lives in them saying, I love you and I'm for you. I've never been against you. I've completely forgiven you. I've completely eradicated everything against you. And I want to lead you through your journey. I bless you today, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow. I will return tomorrow. I'll probably be on in the morning, however. I will announce it late tonight or in the morning. I'm doing a few days of training. Tomorrow will be a different intention. Today was that intention. Tomorrow we might just intentionally move from the rose tree into something else. I bless you. I love you. I thank you all for joining. Let me say hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Miss Nicole. Hello, Jen. Anna. Chantel. Christina. Courtney. So good to see all of you. I bless you. I'll be on again tomorrow. I actually might go on tomorrow night. Come to think of it, I think I told some ladies I'd be on tomorrow night. I will try that tomorrow. I bless you until soon. If you'd like to invite a friend to our group, please feel free. But please don't just invite a bunch of people. Tell them first. Let them have the choice. And thank you so much. Love you. Bye-bye.